Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Chapter 26, Wonderful Krishna. Without understanding the intricacies of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and without knowing his uncommon spiritual opulences, the innocent cowherd boys and men of Vrindavan began to discuss his wonderful activities, which surpassed the activities of all men. One of them said, "My dear friends, considering his wonderful activities, how is it possible that such an uncommon boy would come and live with us in Vrindavan? It is really not possible. Just imagine, he is now only 7 years old. How is it possible for him to lift Govardhana hill in one hand and hold it up just as the king of elephants holds a lotus flower? To lift a lotus flower is a most insignificant thing for an elephant, and similarly, Krishna lifted Govardhana hill without exertion. When he was simply a small baby and could not even see properly, he killed a great demon Putana. While sucking her breast, he also sucked out her life air. Krishna killed the Putana demon exactly as eternal time kills a living creature in due course. When he was only 3 months old, he was sleeping underneath a hand driven cart. Being hungry for his mother's breast, he began to cry and throw his legs upwards. And from the kicking of his small feet, the cart immediately broke apart and fell to pieces. When he was only 1 year old, he was carried away by the Tranavat demon, disguised as a whirlwind, and although he was taken very high in the sky, he simply hung on the neck of the demon and forced him to fall from the sky and immediately die. Once, his mother, being disturbed by his stealing butter, tied him to a wooden mortar, and the child pulled it toward a pair of trees known as Yamalarjuna and caused them to fall. Once, when he was engaged in tending the calves in the forest, along with his elder brother Balaram, a demon named Bakasur appeared, and Krishna at once bifurcated the demon's beak. When the demon known as Varasur, Vatsasur entered among the calves tended by Krishna with a desire to kill him, he immediately detected the demon, killed him, and threw him into a tree. When Krishna, along with his brother Balaram, entered the Talavana forest, the demon known as Denukashura, in the shape of an ass, attacked them and was immediately killed by Balaram, who caught his hind legs and threw him into a palm tree. Although the Denukasura demon was assisted by his cohorts, also in the shape of asses, all were killed, and the Talavan forest was then open for the use of the animals and inhabitants of Vrindavan. When Pralambasur entered amongst Krishna's cowherd boyfriends, Krishna caused him to be killed by Balaram. Thereafter, Krishna saved his friends and cows from a severe forest fire, and he chastised the Kaliya serpent in the lake of the Yamuna river and forced him to leave the vicinity of the Yamuna. He thereby made the water of the Yamuna poisonless. Another one of the friends of Nanda Maharaj said, "My dear Nand, we do not know why we are so attracted by your son Krishna. We want to forget him, but this is impossible. Why are we so naturally affectionate toward him? Just imagine how wonderful it is. On one end, on one hand, he is only a boy of 7 years, and on the other hand, there is a huge hill like Govardhan Hill, and he lifted it so easily. Oh, Nand Maharaj, we are now in great doubt. Your son Krishna must be one of the demigods. He is not at all an ordinary boy. Maybe he is the supreme personality of Godhead." On hearing the praises of the cowherd men in Vrindavan, King Nand said, "My dear friends, in reply to you, I can simply present the statement of Garaga Muni so that your doubts may be cleared. When he came to perform the name giving ceremony, he said that this boy descends in different periods of time, in different colors, and that this time he has appeared in Vrindavan in a blackish color. known as Krishna. Previously, he had a white color, then a red color, then a yellow color. He also said that this boy was once the son of Vasudeva, and everyone who knows of his previous birth calls him Vasudeva. Actually, he said that my son has many varieties of names according to his different qualities and activities. Gargacharya assured me that this boy would be all auspicious for my family and that he would be able to give transcendental blissful pleasure to all the cowherd men and cows in Vrindavan. Even though we would be put into various kinds of difficulties, by the grace of this boy, we would be very easily freed from them. He also said that formerly this boy saved the world from an unregulated condition, and he saved all honest men from the hands of the dishonest thieves. He also said that any fortunate man who becomes attached to this boy Krishna is never vanquished or defeated by his enemy. On the whole, he is exactly like Lord Vishnu. Who always takes the side of the demigods, who are consequently never defeated by the demons. Gargacharya thus concluded that my child would grow to be exactly like Vishnu in transcendental beauty, qualification, activities, influence, and opulence. And so we should not be very astonished by his wonderful activities. After telling me this, Gargacharya returned home, and since then we have been continually seeing the wonderful activities of this child. According to the version of Gargacharya, I considered that he must be Narayana himself, or maybe a plenary portion of Narayana. Plenary. When all the cowherd men had very attentively heard the statements of Gargacharya through Nanda Maharaj, they better appreciated the wonderful activities of Krishna and became very jubilant and satisfied. They began to praise Nanda Maharaj because by consulting him, their doubts about Krishna were cleared. They said, "Let Krishna, who is so kind, beautiful, and merciful, protect us." When angry Indra sent torrents of rain accompanied by showers of ice blocks and high winds, Krishna immediately took compassion upon us and saved us and our families, cows, and valuable possessions by picking up Govardhan Hill, just as a child picks up a mushroom. He saved us so wonderfully. May He continue to glance mercifully over us and our cows. May we live peacefully under the protection of wonderful Krishna. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 26th chapter of Krishna, Wonderful Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Om Jnana-timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Jina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dhati Shapadantikam Pandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrasatam Sahagana Laganakhan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Panchakol Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Pyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So here, the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments on this chapter and says that when Krishna was lifting the Govardhan hill, the Brajbasis were all immersed in tasting the sweetness of Krishna and observing this wonderful pastime. And so they didn't have an opportunity to think, what's going on here? They didn't think about Krishna's extraordinary power. But later they returned to their homes and they began thinking about it, and they doubted when Krishna previously performed extraordinary activities, like killing Putana or swallowing the forest fire. We could think that it was because of the Brahman's blessings, or the good fortune of Nanda, or Narayan entering the boy by his mercy. But when we see Krishna lift Govardhan, such reasoning becomes useless. It's astonishing that a 7-year-old boy could do this. Unimaginable. So then they thought, well, he must be the Supreme Lord. But then, as Prabhupada relates, how is it possible that the Supreme Lord would want to be raised in a cowherd village by ordinary people like us? And we see that he's stealing yogurt and milk and blatantly lying to us. How could he be the Supreme Lord? He must be a human being. So, all right, let's go to Nanda Maharaj and have him settle our doubts. So in this way, they entered the home of Nanda Maharaj, and they were talking in this way as described in the chapter. And basically they're recapitulating the activities of Krishna described in the previous chapters. How he killed the Putana demon, how he killed the cart demon, how he killed Trinavarta, the whirlwind demon, and then how he got tied to the mortar and pulled down the Arjun trees, how they killed, Krishna and Balaram killed or Krishna killed the Bakasura, the heron, and then Vatsasura, who pretended to be a cowherd boy. Krishna detected him and threw him into a tree. And then in Talavan, Balaram this time killed the Dhenukasura, whirling, and they Krishna and Balaram whirled the demons around, these ass demons, threw them up in the trees. And Pralambasura, who'd entered among the friends, Krishna and Balaram Krishna divided the boys into pairs, 2 teams, and the winners had to carry the losers on their shoulders. And losers had to carry the winners on their shoulders. So this Pralambasura was carried by Balaram, and Balaram killed him. Then there was the Kaliya, who was forced to leave the Jamuna. So it's wonderful. And we don't know why we're so attracted to your son Krishna. We want to forget him, but it's not possible. Why are we so naturally affectionate toward him? So hearing all these things, Nanda Maharaj replied, said, well, I can just tell you what Gargacharya said, Gargamuni. Gargamuni was the astrologer who'd been called in to speak about the future of the child. This was the Vedic custom. On the birth of a child, the astrologer would come, he'd calculate the birth moment and the horoscope and speak about the future and maybe the past lives also of the child. So Gargamuni came and told these things about Krishna. And now, of course, that had been done secretly so that Kamsa wouldn't find out. But now Nanda Maharaj told the cowherd men that during this name-giving ceremony, Gargamuni said so many things. He said that in previous ages, this child appeared in different colors, in different forms, red color, white color, yellow color, and now he's come in a blackish color. That verse, of course, is important in that it provides a basis for our understanding the different colors of the avatars who appear in different yugas. And since the white and red and black incarnations have appeared, that leaves one left who appears in Kali Yuga in yellow color as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gargamuni said in his previous life, we've said this boy was once the son of Vasudeva, and so he's also called Vasudeva. And he has many different names according to his different qualities and activities. He'd be all auspicious for the family. He'd give pleasure to all the cowherd men and cows. And even if we're put into many difficulties, this boy would easily free us from them. And he formerly saved the world from an unregulated condition, saved honest men from the hands of thieves. And anyone who becomes attached to him is never vanquished or defeated. So on the whole, he's just like Lord Vishnu. And he would grow in opulence. So Gargamuni told all these things and then went home. And considering all this, I think that he's an incarnation of Narayan, or he's especially empowered by Narayan. So then when the cowherd men heard this, they appreciated even more the wonderful activities of Krishna. And they said, may Krishna always protect us. He took compassion on us when Indra sent his devastating winds and rain. He lifted the Govardhan hill. So may we always live peacefully under the protection of wonderful Krishna. So this is again kirtan. The cowherd men are just as earlier the gopis had assembled and they were talking that your boy steals butter and steals yogurt and enters our homes and distributes the butter to his friends and the monkeys. Even if we hide the butter up in the rafters, he makes holes in the pots. Even if we put it in a dark room, he and Balaram have some sort of effulgence, and they get at it anyway. And now he's sitting just like a very good boy, although he's mischief monger number one. So in this way, it seemed they were lodging complaints about Krishna, but actually they were enjoying reciting the wonderful activities of Krishna. So here also the cowherd men are blissfully reciting or remembering and reciting the wonderful activities of Krishna. and this is sort of an interlude, and then Indra is going to come back. We're not finished with all the Govardhan activities or the activities of Indra yet. He's going to come back and offer his prayers to Krishna. Okay, any comments or questions? Mm-hmm.
Hare Krishna. I'm wondering about, Krishna has the 64 qualities.
64 qualities?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Vishnu has 4 less. I just want to know how many qualities does like Varaha and Singadev and those type of incarnations have. And also, I know that Narada Muni is some type of expansion or has some type of empowerment of Krishna. So also, where would he fall within the categories of the qualities?
How many qualities do the incarnations have, and where does Nard fit into this in terms of qualifications? We don't hear specifically about the incarnations, although they're basically Vishnu Tattva. So you could calculate they wouldn't have more qualities than Lord Vishnu has. They don't play a flute, and so on. These special qualities that Krishna shows in Vrindavan, they don't have that. So not more than Lord Vishnu, at least we can say for the incarnations. As far as Narad Muni, he's considered Shaktivesh. Shaktivesh means he's a living entity, but especially empowered by Krishna's Shakti, Krishna's energy. Lord Buddha is also considered Shaktivesh. Prithu Maharaj is also considered Shaktivesh. So Shaktivesh means he's a living being, but he's empowered with the potency of Lord Vishnu. So Narad Muni falls in that category. Is that okay?
Just how many qualities would he have? Would it be on like the Brahma and Shiva?
Like the living beings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, features like being the creator of all the worlds, that's not there in Narad Muni.
Also about these qualities, we were reading them on Monday, all the qualities, and there was one that I don't know what kind of idea I should put with that. It was the quality of being fluent.
Yeah, well, all of these qualities are described. The structure there in Nectar of Devotion is that first Rupa Goswami lists them out, 64 qualities, and that's what we were reading. But then for the next few chapters, he elucidates what each quality is and gives an example of each. So in regard to Krishna's being fluent, if I recall, he speaks various languages. He's fluent even in the languages of the birds and the animals. So he can speak all these different languages, and that's the. Am I right? Someone's read recently, yeah. So you can any of these qualities, you just look in the coming chapters, and they're all enumerated with explanations.
And one other question. So all of the pastimes that any incarnation does are eternal. So even, for instance, now we have already the pastimes that Kalki is going to perform at the end of times. So I was wondering, how do these things overlap? For instance, in Satya Yuga, they already knew the pastimes of Krishna. So and also in the time that
in
Krishna...
Satya Yuga, they already knew the pastimes of Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, just before Krishna came, they had already the knowledge, I think, of all the pastimes that were going to happen. Weren't they prepared or thinking, hey, I'm in this pastime?
Who?
For instance, Indra. were they not also learned in the scriptures, knowing what would happen?
We don't hear that he was informed of these things. But even if he's informed, he forgets, he misunderstands. Uyanti Atsurya, even the demigods become bewildered. Let me just think also. The Indras change during the course of the universe. For each new Manvantara, if I'm not wrong, there's another Indra. So, and there are 14 Manvantaras in a day of Brahma. So they're changing. So he wouldn't have been around for the previous show.
Would it not be already in the Vedas or in the Srimad?
Everything's there, but lots of things are there and you don't see them. Lots of things are there, you don't see them. Everything's there, but we don't see it. Let me just think some. Yeah. It's like death. It's there for everyone and we don't see it. We all know we're going to die, but nobody thinks I'm going to die. We all think I'll go on, I'll go on, I'll go on. And then death creeps up. When I'm 18, 20, what do I think about death? It's like death. I'm going to live forever. Although I know, what is that? Pashyanapi na pashyati. In the Bhagavatam it said that everyone sees that their grandfather has died, their father has died, everyone is dying. That means I'm also going to die. But pashyanapi, and around me everyone is dying. But pashyanapi, although seeing, na pashyati, we don't see. Deha pacha kalatradish. Although we see it, we don't see it. So it's like that. There's so many things that are, as they say, as plain as the nose on our face, and yet we don't see it.
And and if in, for instance, Satya Yuga, they do have that knowledge, they have their own thing. They have to do austerities or later rituals and so on. But when they have all this knowledge and they read the pastimes and how it continues, would they not think, maybe I can also follow the process of bhakti yoga or chant the mantra and it will still work in the age that I'm in now? Is it not equally
They could think
potent?
so many things, but one problem on the heavenly planets is sense gratification is too good. Bhogaishaya prasaktanam taya pradita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadona vidhiyate. For those who are too attached to sense gratification, the determination to take up bhakti yoga doesn't really kick in or become resolute. They too much enjoyment. They're just thinking, let me enjoy. And they don't think. They're willing to trade in the permanent or eternal benefit for a moment of sense gratification. And the heavenly planets, moments seem like millions of years. So they're bewildered. They're bewildered. Let me enjoy. Let me enjoy. This is called Maya. This is called Maya. So bewildered by Maya, even those who know forget. And forget. Mama Maya Duratya. Maya is very powerful. So on the heavenly planets, the enjoying spirit is strong, and the facilities for enjoyment are strong. So the demigods, therefore it's not the ideal place. In hell, they're suffering too much to become Krishna conscious. And in heaven, they're enjoying too much to become Krishna conscious. So really, the earth is the best place. Therefore, the demigods are praying that at the end of our long lifetimes, you're already there. Kim duskarar na katubis tapo retire tanadi bir va dujayena palguna nayatra narayana pada pankaja smriti pramoshta tishayendriyotsavat. After performing the very difficult tasks of executing Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, undergoing austerities, observing vows, giving charity, we've achieved this position as residents of the heavenly planets. But what's the value of this achievement? Here we're certainly engaged in material sense gratification, and therefore we can hardly remember the lotus feet of Lord Narayan. Indeed, because of our excessive sense gratification, we've almost forgotten his lotus feet. That's there. Then, Kalpayusham Tanurjayat Punarbhavat Shanayusham Bharata Bhujayo Varam Shanena Martina Kritam Manasvina Sanyasya Sangyantya Bhayam Padam Harehe. A short life in the land of Bharatvarsha, earth, is preferable to a life achieved in Brahmaloka for millions and billions of years. Because even if elevated to Brahmaloka, one must return to repeated birth and death. Although life in Bharatvarsha, in a lower planetary system, is short, one who lives there can elevate himself to full Krishna consciousness and achieve the highest perfection, even in this short life, by fully surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Thus one attains Vaikuntha Loka, where there's neither anxiety nor repeated birth in the material body. And these are good verses. Good. It's Bhagavad. Nayatra Vaikuntha Kata Sudhapaga Asadavo Bhagavatas Tadashraya Nayatri Yagesha Maka Mahotsavaha Suresha Lokopi Nabhayasa Sevyatam. An intelligent person takes no interest in a place, even in the topmost planetary system, if the pure Ganges of topics of the Supreme Lord's activities don't flow there, or if there are no devotees engaged in service on the banks of such a river of piety, or no festivals of Sankirtan Yagya to satisfy the Lord. Then Praptan Rajatim Trihaye Chajantavo Jnana Kriya Dravya Kalapa Sambritam Navayate Ranna Punar Bhavayate Bhuyo Vanauka Ivayanti Bandhanam. Bharatvarsha, the earth, offers the proper land and circumstances in which to execute devotional service, which can free one from the results of jnana and karma. If one obtains a human body in the land of Bharatvarsha, with clear sensory organs, with which to perform Sankirtan Yajna, but in spite of this opportunity does not take to devotional service, he's certainly like liberated forest animals and birds that are careless and therefore again bound by a hunter. They have their freedom, but they get caught again. So they go on glorifying Bharatvarsha, earth. Where all of this mercy is available. And then at the end they pray that if we have any remnant left at the end of our lives of demigods, any punya still with us, may we take birth in Bharatvarsha. That's there. So that we can be properly engaged in devotional service. People go, the the followers of the Vedas, the Karmakandis, undergo so much trouble to attain the heavenly planets and have all the pleasures of the heavenly world. But then when they get there, this is how they think, that we're stuck in the heavenly muck of sense gratification. And so we can't seriously take to devotional service. And these fortunate people of Bharatvarsha, they have the opportunity. But they have to take it. That okay?
I was also thinking, because there's also Satya-yuga on the Earth planet, and they would also have that knowledge, and they say that they describe Satya-yuga as people being enlightened, self-controlled, focused on self-realization.
But they may have all of that. That doesn't mean that they know everything. They're not omniscient. They have knowledge. They're full of knowledge. But this knowledge of Krishna's activities is very confidential. It's not known to everyone.
When did that knowledge come to the Earth then?
Good question. It's there. Like one time I asked Prabhupada, that Krishna says, Sakali neha mahata yoga nashta parantapa. Over time, this knowledge was lost. So now I'm speaking it again. So I asked Prabhupada, but I said, but Vyasadeva was there, so how was it lost? So Prabhupada said, lost means it was not generally known. Something else?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
A few days back, we were talking about the different disciples, first class, second class, third class. And I wonder are we destined to fall into one of these categories, or does it depend on our surrender or intelligence or following? And how does the spiritual master relate to the different disciples? Because on the material platform, we really like we like those who do what we want.
Yeah. Is it predestined what class will be? Well, from one point of view, yes, because it depends on our previous progress in devotional service. If you were second class and you came to a certain point but didn't finish, then you can be second class in this life, picking up from where you left off. If you were third class in your last life, you can pick up from there. So in terms of our previous bhakti sukriti, We may be in first class, second class, but you can change. You can advance from third class to first class, or from third to second, from second to first. It's not that you, someone who's third class has to stay third class. By the mercy of the spiritual master, by following the instructions and so on, you can advance. That's there. So that's the first part of your question. As far as the spiritual master being pleased, yes. Naturally, the spiritual master is pleased when a disciple is first class, when he anticipates, yes, this is what Guru Maharaj would like. About Narad Muni, the sages liked him because he was self-controlled, he wasn't into sports, he was very obedient, he was gentle. So they liked him, and they gave him their blessings. About Sutta Goswami, Vetatam somya tat sarvam tat vatas tadanugrahat Bruyu snigtasya shishasya Guruve Gurumapyuta. Vetatam somya tat, you're very simple and gentle. Somya means like that. Tatvatas tadanugrahat. So by the mercy of your gurus, tatvatat tadanugrahat, bruyu snigtasya shishasya guruve gurumapyuta. They've given you all the benedictions, or yes, are reserved for a gentle, or a snigta. Snigta means submissive disciple. So there's reciprocation accordingly. Naturally, if the spiritual master gives an instruction and the third class disciple won't even follow it, when asked, how pleased is the spiritual master going to be? Not very. I told him and still he doesn't listen. I told him again and still he doesn't listen. Told him 3 times, still he doesn't listen. Spiritual master doesn't become very happy. But at least if he's following the instructions, spiritual master says, do this. Yes, sir, he does it. Spiritual master becomes pleased. And yasya prasada bhagavad prasad, then Lord becomes pleased. And if he's first class, he doesn't even wait to be told, and spiritual master is delighted. Oh, such a nice disciple. Not that he's equally pleased, whatever you do. You're nonsense, but he's pleased. You don't follow the instructions he's given, but still he's pleased. No, he's not, like a machine that once you deposit your $20, now he's going to be pleased no matter what. No. You have to do something to please the spiritual master. He may be merciful, that's another thing. Even if he's displeased, like Narad was not very pleased with Nalakuvera and Manigriva, still he gave some blessing to them, because he's a saintly person. So a saintly person is kind to everyone. So he was kind even to Nalakuvera and Manigriva. But he wasn't very pleased with them, and he thought, these fools, they're coming from a good family, and still they're behaving like nonsense. So he wasn't very pleased. Still he gave a kind of blessing to them, cursed them, blessing, cum curse. But when the disciple is very submissive and first class, even anticipates the desire of the spiritual master, then he gets so many blessings. Those whose phones ring, they get cursed. They have to come back as telephone towers. Yeah, this is the verse. This is 9th canto. Uttamas chintitam kuryad proktakari tu madhyamaha atamo shrataya kuryad akartot sharitam pituhu. The son who acts by anticipating what his father wants him to do is first class. One who acts upon receiving his father's order, second class. And one who executes his father's order irreverently is third class. All right, I'll do it. But a son who refuses his father's order is like his father's stool. So this is in regard to Puru and Yayati. Okay?
Yes, thank you. And just in connection with it, can I ask that, in the communication between the disciple and the guru, we see that like Shrutakirti Prabhu many times say that he was never really chastised by Prabhupada because he could not take it. So that from that angle, when you see the interaction, then it's difficult to understand that who is first class or second class, because the guru is chastising like the first class devotee who is ready to take.
That's also mercy. Someplace I have it in my memory that Prabhupada said that his Guru Maharaj used to chastise the disciples. Those were our glory days. To be chastised by the spiritual masters, another kind of mercy. So we may or may not understand, but one who has eyes to see can see who's serving nicely, who's serving negligently. We can see even, sometimes you see how devotees are behaving, you can see they don't care. The spiritual master told them something, but they don't really care. They're not following. Even what they promised to do at initiation, they don't follow. We see that they're doing this, they're doing that. Or we know that they received an order, but they like resentfully follow it. Or we see that they're first class. They're always thinking how to carry out the orders of the spiritual master. What more can I do? What more can, very enthusiastic. Yeah, anyone can see. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, it is said that Krishna's pastime and whatever Krishna does, that is like a nectar. And when Parikshit Maharaj was hearing from Sukadeva Goswami, and Sukadeva Goswami said, if you feel hungry or thirsty, I can stop. But he said, I'm getting to drink nectar. But in our case, when we hear about pastime of Krishna, or even when we read Bhagavatam, we don't feel like that. We feel that, okay, I'm reading something, but there is no taste and there is no feeling of nectar. So what should we do so that we can?
We should try to associate with advanced devotees who do have a taste. If we associate with people who are only like us, who also do not have much interest, then we'll tend to stay on that same platform. But if we associate with those who are enthusiastic to hear, then we can pick up that enthusiasm. Is that okay? Mm-hmm.
If a disciple is trying to follow instruction of his guru and he is genuine, but sometimes he is not able to follow, in that case, what happens? Does guru forgive or?
The guru, well, it depends on, it's like Prabhupada, he said he wasn't able to carry out what his spiritual master had given him, but then later he was able to do it. Sometimes it may not be immediately possible. We're given some order, but it depends on the opportunity. Or sometimes, just think for a moment. But if we neglect to carry it out, that's very bad. One thing is we're trying, but the opportunity is not there, or somehow Krishna is not allowing. But another thing is that even the basic principles we're not following. That's our negligence. Does that answer? Okay. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, when we read Prabhupada's book, we can notice one statement like one should remember Krishna all the time and never forget Krishna. That is the essence of all Vedic injection. So when we do japa or devotional service, so that time we remember Krishna. But apart from that, like how practically we can apply those learning in our life so that all the time we'll remember and never forget Krishna.
Prabhupada says we should mold our life in such a way. So one thing is, so strong sadhana will help us, especially morning, evening. If in the morning you have a strong program of hearing, chanting, and then again in the evening you come back and hear something, chant something, then that will give you, then that seeps into the rest of the day. Even, people read the newspaper in the morning, and throughout the day they're remembering some nonsense they read. Right? So if we can remember that nonsense, why can't we remember Krishna? But then we have to hear it. Hearing, and then you can't remember unless it got in there to begin with. So regular program of hearing, and then hearing. Is that okay? Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Bhagasevam. Something else? Over on this side, there's questions.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. My question is about Prahlad Maharaj. He was telling his father he wasn't interested in politics because in politics there are friends and enemies, and there are no friends and enemies. There's just relationship with the Lord. And I was wondering, what does this mean for us, friendship amongst devotees? How much?
That's a different thing.
Mhm.
That's not in the category of friends and enemies. Friends and enemies means in terms of my material profit or loss. Otherwise, Krishna is, no, we can't have Krishna as our friend because we don't have friends and enemies. Although Krishna says, Suridam Sarvabhutana, but I'm transcendental, I don't have any friends. No. And then in relationship to Krishna, the devotees, they're the real friends of the living being. And that's Not on the platform of duality, that's on the absolute platform. On the materialistic platform, we divide up friends and enemies in terms of material. I like this, I don't like that, I want this, I don't want that. But on the spiritual platform, there's absolute friendship. Is that okay?
Just it's not from the class. It's from the, unless someone has a class question. Okay, it's from the email you sent out, the Kirtan Standard Seminar. I'm just trying to understand that. When you said that the Guru Puja or Guru Ashtakam in the morning is for our Guru or anyone's Guru, but the 7 o'clock Guru Puja is for Prabhupada. Is it just a ISKCON standard, or that?
The 7 o'clock is this kind of standard. So we have our Guru Puja. That's not like Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu says you have to have Guru Puja. That's an ISKCON program. I think in Gaudiya Math they don't have a Guru Puja at such and such time. But we have that. And what is that Guru Puja? We call it Guru Puja, but it's not really for my Guru and your Guru and the next person. It's all about Prabhupada, right? We all gather around Prabhupada's Vyasas and we offer arti to Prabhupada. And so then we're chanting Shri Guru Charanapanna. Well, who is it for? It's clearly not for whoever your Guru might be. It's for Prabhupada. Even though we call it Guru Puja, we call it Guru Puja back in the 1970s because there was only one Guru. But now you can still call it Guru Puja, but it's really Prabhupada Puja.
Maharaj, and that's what we do for 4 o'clock as well. 4:30 as well. That's what we do.
Who said?
We look around, we chant for Srila Prabhupada. Or?
Who said that? By what principle is it that the Gurvastikam in the morning is only for Prabhupada? How do we get that?
With the same principle as we get it for 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, it's clearly focused. If you look at it simply as from a like a social scientist point of view, or someone came from Mars, you look at it and you see they're all gathered around this one person. They're all offering him, worship. So, it's obvious what it is. It's all offered to him. Anyone can see that.
Vrindavan, they're standing in front of Prabhupada and saying,
Or in Prabhupada's Samadhi at 4:10, that's clearly for Prabhupada. There's no two ways about that. Why did you come to Prabhupada's Samadhi? And so okay, that's for Prabhupada. But in your garden variety ISKCON temple, so to speak, how is it, who decided that Gurvastikam is only for Prabhupada? Where do we get that? So, yes, you may think of Prabhupada but if someone thinks of their own Guru, it's like, I thought of my Guru. Or someone confessed, well, tell you the truth, during Gurvastikam, I think of my own Guru. Does that mean he's like out of sync? He hasn't gotten it. He's got a philosophical misunderstanding. He doesn't understand the position of founder Acharya. No. It's Guru Astakam, prayers to the Guru. So you can think of your Guru, his Guru. And Prabhupada's our founder Acharya, and actually he's so prominent. But it's not like some principle. This is the Prabhupada song, and this is Prabhupada's Mangalarti. And it's not really, and I don't think that's shastrically defensible. or defendable by anything Prabhupada ever said. So we're not bound to that point of view. Is that okay?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you.
I think that article is posted now on my website. Yeah, those who want a little sermon on the topic.
Yeah, I guess the article doesn't mention the exception of Prabhupada's Samadhi. So
Yeah, I didn't mention that. There's always something. Yeah, Prabhupada Samadhi obviously is. It's clear that that's why you went there. If you chant Sri Guru Charana Padma at your Guru Maharaj's Vyas Puja, it's pretty clear that that's for your Guru Maharaj, not for Prabhupada, right? So it's not like it's all, this is the Prabhupada song, and that's also a Prabhupada song, and you have to think of Prabhupada, and if you're not thinking of Prabhupada, then... And it's also not the other way, that you can't think of Prabhupada, because when I think of my Guru, naturally I think of Prabhupada. It's all, everything connected. Okay. I don't know what they can cut out of this little 5-minute explanation to put on the internet and take out of context. I'm sure they'll find something. Yes.
I guess furthering this conversation of prayers and stuff, we have the prayers when we offer prasadam or bhoga.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, if you read the translation, it's not like we're saying, "Oh dear Guru, please accept this humble offering," or something along those lines. So I'm wondering.
I don't follow.
So like the mood is like, "Oh Guru, please accept this humble offering," and please offer it to Krishna. Like that's the intention, but the prayers that we say doesn't say that.
What prayers do you say?
Well, Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna
Hmm?
Prabhupada's prana mantra.
When you're offering food to the deity, you're offering with Prabhupada's mantra. I don't understand that actually. What happened to your Guru?
Oh, okay. Yes, your Guru, and then Prabhupada, and then
yeah,
is the Lord Chaitanya prayer.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're offering the prayers to the Parampara and to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but you're not saying please eat. Yeah. But we're offering respect. That's good enough. In worshiping the deity, I think, I'm not a big pujari. I think there are prayers when you specifically ask the deity, yeah, right? You please, we brought you something, please take this. So there are such prayers. Those who get into the puja, take the pujari course and all of that, they'll learn these prayers. So they're there. But the sort of simple garden variety ISKCON offerings, we offer respect, and it's understood that we're, and the intention is read also. You're bowing down, what's your intention? The intention is we want to offer you this. But Krishna sees the heart also. Something else? Krishna, Krishna.
I was wondering, how could we be fearless in speech like Srila Prabhupada?
How can we be fearless in speech like Prabhupada? first thought is by being advanced. And the person, if you're advanced, or if it's your nature, some people, they're just blunt. They come out and say whatever it is, They don't consider what anyone's going to think. So it may be your nature, you just tell it like it is, no matter what. So that may be one thing. Or another thing is that you're spiritually advanced, so this is what I should do. And the third thing is by being, having a sense of duty. That my job is not to speak what people will like or speak what will make me popular or speak what will accomplish this or that. My job is to say what I've heard from the Shastra, from the spiritual master. That's my duty. Like a postman, he doesn't consider the letter's good, the letter's bad. The letter could be better composed. He just delivers. So from one point of view, that my job is not to get especially some personal results for myself, get people to like me. My job is to deliver the message that I was given to deliver. Then the rest is not up to me. I did my part. And we see that Prabhupada was dutiful. What he considered, what is dharma? One meaning of dharma is duty, prescribed duty. I have some duty. And the result of doing my duty may be painful, or it may be pleasant. It may get public acclaim or public opprobrium, which means disapproval. But that's not what I'm in the game for. It's not my business to put my finger in the air and see whether I'm going to be popular or not, or whether people are going to like it or not. To cater to people's sense gratification, or no, my job is here's the message, and so we're going to give it to you. And of course, some people are better at delivering the message sweetly. Jayadvaita Maharaj is like my hero for sweet speech. He speaks so sweetly. He could deliver a death sentence and you'd think it was nectar. Even your own death sentence, you'd think, wow, so sweet. He speaks so sweetly, it's amazing. So it's not that you have to be harsh or mean or obnoxious, but you have a message. So without considering my personal gain or loss, I have to perform my duty. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, just to relate to this question, she just posed to you that what can make you fearless? It's been my personal observation when I joined ISKCON, when I was getting to know all these philosophical things, in ISKCON, all those philosophy, all those principles which are eternally fact. So this slowly, when I become more convinced about all those such things, that convincing philosophy made me more fearless, because what is life, what is death, what is body, what is all these things. So knowing this thing from death, made me automatically fearless, and I become very convinced. The more you get convinced, the more you become fearless.
Just put it out there. What are they going to do? What do they know? What is the value of their opinions and so on? We're speaking the truth. and it's going to help them. You have that conviction, it will be good for them. Also, I was thinking of Prahlad Maharaj. He knew Nrsingadeva is there to protect me. I can speak even to Hiranyakashipu and lay it on the line. You know, Krishna is just like a child. Prabhupada said, "Child, my father is there." And sometimes I don't know about where you come from and where we come from. You know, my father can beat up your father. You know. So, child, as long as his father is there, he's fearless. He knows my father will protect me. So Prahlad Maharaj knew that Nrsingadeva is there. Why should I have nothing to fear? Yes, last question.
In deity worship, you have to memorize part of Brahma Samhita.
You have to memorize part of Bhagavad-Gita?
Brahma Samhita.
Brahma Samhita.
So I was wondering, is it similar to Shikshastakam, where we're reciting it over and over and eventually we have it all memorized? Because Brahma Samhita is pretty long. So would it be natural over time that I eventually will be able to memorize it, or would I need to put
you
more
go
effort?
on reciting.
Oh,
It'll stick.
okay. I wasn't sure if it was possible.
It's possible.
Okay.
I have a very poor memory, but I'm reciting it every day, and so I remember. So I'm speaking from the experience of a person with a poor memory, that it is possible. Okay, who's doing kirtan? Who's our kirtan party? No questions or questions? We just closed. You wanted to add something? Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, who's leading, first of all? Are you leading? You're leading? Lalitanath, you're leading? No. Okay.
Pranam Maharaji. Actually, he was saying how to get fearless. The person who surrenders to the Lord, naturally, how much is start moving to a surrenderness, then that much of fear goes fade away. That's what he says. In Prahlad Maharaj's condition, he was totally convinced what Maharaj was saying, that he's totally convinced that Ito Narsimha, Parato Narsimha, Yeto Yeto Yam Itato Narsimha. Bahir Narsimha, Hridaye Narsimha. So he's having a firm conviction that Krishna is there everywhere. The Lord is there. That's how fear goes away.
Very good.
So Rakshasati Vishwaso and Goptatve Varanam Tata. He is the maintainer and he is the protector. That conviction is there, not just verbally. That conviction is there inside. Then fear fades. That's what Maharaj.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, you had come to Bangalore like 7-8 years ago. Do you remember Vaikhanas Maharaj, Bhakti-Vedanta Vaikhanas Maharaj? I am staying with him.
I was staying with him. Oh,
yeah.
Very good.
Now he's in America. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where are you staying now?
Now I'm here only 6 years.
Okay. Very good.
By Masya.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, kirtan. One tune, right?
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Srimad Paramahansa Paripajikacharya Shrotra Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Miraj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kun Radha Kunikiri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Gangamai Ki Jai Jamunamai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Thank you very much.